Welcome everyone. I'd like to open up the March 15th Select Board meeting, and we have an agenda in front of us. Are there any changes to be made to the agenda?
You left out selectmen's comments.
Selectmen's comments.
Yes, that's a normal, on our normal agendas, there's selectmen's comments.
I know, after public comment, right?
Yes, after
We can
public
put that,
comment.
After the town manager's report, then it's selectmen.
Is it before
Oh.
our,
So we can put that just in under two, like number 5, I guess.
3, yeah. 3 or 4, yeah, somewhere in there.
And I believe that we had someone else that wanted to add an agenda item tonight too, right, Mr. Conway?
So are you guys here as the planning commission
I am here as Rick
officially?
Conway.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Well,
I just want to make sure it gets put, when he puts,
yeah,
writes it down on,
I'm going to be speaking for myself.
Okay.
Okay.
So
How does the
what we would like to call this, like a discussion on the facts and finding report from Act 250?
Yeah, on the motion, Conway's motion.
Okay. We can add that under the last item of new business?
sure,
Okay. Everyone in favor of that?
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Any other changes to the agenda?
Motion to accept agenda has changed.
All those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on. Our first item of business is reorganization, and we have appointment of a chairperson. Do I have any?
I nominate Alicia Millay. Second.
Any other nominations?
Move to close nominations.
Okay. All those in favor of appointing Alicia Millay as the select board chair, say aye.
Aye. I wouldn't normally vote for myself, but since there's only 3 of us here.
I can vote.
Well, I figure we have a majority of 2 right now anyway. So, next item is appointment of a vice chair. Do I have any nominations for vice chair?
Yeah, I nominate David Mills for vice
second
chair.
Any other nominations? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I guess I can take over now then. I can let you off the hook.
Sure, hand the meeting over to Alicia.
All right, do we have any need for executive session? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Think so.
Okay. Okay, we already amended the agenda and adopted it. You just,
Right, yes.
okay. All right, appointment of recording clerk. So assistant to the town manager is gonna be, why does it say that,
Wouldn't someone want to be on the board, be the recording clerk?
It's a different position. This position, and this question comes up all the time.
Okay.
This position gathers all the information for the select board and acts on behalf of the select board when things get recorded in the town clerk's office. So that's why it's the assistant to the town.
okay, thanks for clarifying that.
Every year.
Okay, all right, so do we have a motion? We need to make a motion on that?
Move to have Ann be the recording clerk.
Okay. Second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, appointment of official newspaper, the Brandon Reporter.
So move.
Make a motion.
No, I made the motion.
Oh, second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, adoption of select board meeting schedule, just remaining the first and third Wednesdays of the month.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, now I think in years past, haven't we have just voted en masse, correct? We haven't actually,
On the table you do. On this table, you
Yes.
do vote as one.
okay, just wanted to check, okay. So does it need to be stated for the record, or it'll just end up in the minutes because you have
Put
it?
it in the minutes.
Okay, just want to make sure, okay.
I'll
So,
put motion by and seconded by
okay,
to a point, and then I'll make the list.
all right, great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about the list?
A motion to approve the whole list.
Well, I know, well, if there was any questions on it, making sure we have, like, all the right names are on there. I know, I think this came up before, and I don't know if we need to do this, but, our emergency management director is Tim Cornell, but our emergency services director is Steve Shortsleeves, but it's not on there. I don't know if we need to have that on there. Probably should, right?
Well, we can do it too when the board adopts the local emergency management plan too, which will be
Okay.
probably at the next meeting, so,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the CUD and the insect control board aren't here. And I don't know if they need to be or not, but that's what I noticed as missing.
Those aren't annual appointments though, right? It's kind of, when someone gets on, they're pretty much on for life until,
Yeah, I guess that is the way that
Right.
works, so, okay, so it doesn't need
yeah, I
to be on
don't
there.
think those are
Okay.
annual appointments.
All right.
Yep.
Then, do we have a motion?
Right, motion to accept this list as presented.
Okay, perfect.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, anything on the, board minutes of March 1st? I didn't see anything.
Joe.
I guess I could just slide down. The cannabis one, I'm gonna just keep sliding them down.
Yeah, did anyone have any questions on those minutes?
Still think we ought to have a rubber stamp.
If only they were legal, Joe.
Yeah, those are the invoices.
Any questions on the orders? So you're taking some notes.
Yeah, 2965, which is Sullivan and Powers. Should we be paying them before
So-
we ever get a report from them?
So I actually had Pat pull that one, so it's not in this set, and she updated the invoice that you're signing to show that it's not on there.
It's not on there.
It's not on there.
I was gonna say, because we haven't
So we haven't
gotten-
paid it yet?
No, I had her pull it today.
Okay.
So that one hasn't been paid.
Thank you.
Have they stated at all that they're gonna come and actually present?
So
to
I've been
us?
emailing back and forth with Chad, at Sullivan and Powers, and they wanted like Helen and Pat and I to do this sort of summary of the findings of the audit, which I thought was a little odd, that why would we be doing that?
Yeah, right.
And their reasoning was in case someone wanted to look at it. I'm like, well, I think they'd want to look at the whole financial statement and not. So we got that, taken care of, and we're not gonna do it, and I'm just waiting to see the management letter from them so we can sign it, and, then they can present, but
Yeah, okay.
we're having some discussion about maybe doing an RFP for auditing services. We'll
Yeah.
just have to see what their contract is for time, but
Okay.
it might be due.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. All right, town manager's report.
Okay. So we spoke with V-Trans reps sorry, that's last week's. Where is my new one? I don't think my thing made it into.
Need one of ours?
Yeah, can I borrow one? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought I had one in here. I need a couple more folders. Thank you. We had a little accident at the wastewater plant, just back into a vehicle, so we filed a claim with the league. No injuries and the damage was minimal. Chad and I are hoping to submit a Class 2 highway structures grant to replace a culvert at the intersection at Oxbow and Ager Road. We'll be meeting with Camp Precast to get a cost estimate on the box and installation to use for the grant application. Also, I did get numbers from Pike for Class 2 paving for Arch Street from Kamuta's down to the fire station. So we'll be milling that and paving it. So we'll try to submit that for grant to the board for the next meeting to sign. The police department has completed and submitted a survey to see if the town is eligible to apply for a grant through the Community Facilities Direct Loan and Grant Program. This program provides affordable funding to develop essential community facilities in rural areas. These funds can be used for public safety services such as fire departments, police stations, prisons, police vehicles, fire trucks, public works, and vehicles or equipment. So it was just a survey to see if we qualify. It sounds like maybe Sanders' office is trying to get a bill together for federal money, so
Okay.
Bill and I have been working on that. He did most of it, but we figured we'd just throw it out there and see what happens, and if there's money to do some of the public safety building.
So the fire department did it with you? You said police.
So it'd be, while we were looking at it, would be police, fire, rescue,
Oh,
sort of
you
a
said
public
Bill.
safety
Yeah,
building.
you
It's-
said Bill, so I thought you were gonna
Oh,
say-
Bill from PD, Bill Pratico.
Bill Pratico.
Oh, okay.
Bills.
Yeah. So the sander on the new International is not working properly and needs to be replaced. The current sander hits the ground when the dump body's raised, so it's not very effective. HP Fairfield will be installing a new, it's a Swenson MDV 944 stainless steel hydraulic V-box spreader, in case anyone cares. And it's a $5,000 cost increase for the new sander, but it will work properly when installed. And Anna's been working on delinquent water shut-off notices. 45-day notices were sent, and 9 of them have been paid. Actually, it's more like probably 15 now. We've had a lot of calls come in. And the deadline for the payments was yesterday, so payments are coming in fast. And then I just had some notes on some of the agenda items that I can go over when we hit them. But so that's all I have for my report.
So wait, are we on the hook for the sander?
We are.
Why?
Because it's a more expensive sander than the one that was on the truck. So it looks like they're covering the insulation, but
I guess it came to us broken.
Well,
Right?
so this was before me, so I've been trying to figure this out. But the truck was completely built before. It was a truck that was already done, and I believe that's why we got it. That it was.
Well, our other one fell off a truck on the way
Right.
here, or was wrecked somehow.
Right. Well, this won't fall because it gets stuck between the box and the pavement. So.
No, the truck itself.
Oh.
The truck, as I remember it, the truck we had ordered, whether it fell off the carrier, I don't know what happened to it, or I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate what happened to it, but we couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So this truck that we've got, which is white instead of red, I'm told, I haven't seen it,
Yeah, it is.
is supposedly the same truck, but otherwise we were going to have to wait another year to get one because of the way things are. So we took this one.
My
But
guess
I don't
is
understand why the sander doesn't fit.
because the bed sits a lot lower than like a 550. If you look at the way the International, the bed's pretty short, like, height-wise on it, and the truck just doesn't sit up as high. So where the sander is, where it spreads it, there's seriously this much clearance before the body even goes up. Yeah, you should go take a look at it. It's definitely flawed. So
So that sander really should have never been put on
no,
that truck.
they should have never put it on that
That
one.
was their fault.
Who put it
Ain't
on?
that good?
Well, they are, but there's the additional cost for this type of sander is $5,000 more, but it's the only one that'll work on a
More
truck.
Expensive unit.
Yeah, but it'll work. So.
But who put it on
With
to begin with?
choice.
The manufacturer that sent it to you?
Well, like I said, I don't really know because I wasn't here then, but the truck had already been built and the sander, it's not defective, it just doesn't work on that body.
Right.
So, and the sander, type of sander that does work is $5,000 more than the current setup that's on it.
Right.
So it's just a cost for,
Right.
it's just a more expensive sander.
Just seemed like if we'd already paid for a sander, that we shouldn't have to pay for another sander, but if it's a more expensive
Well,
sander.
right,
Yeah.
and I think possibly what happened, the truck that we got isn't the same as, physically the same as the truck that we had ordered, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So it probably sits different, and, I mean, they sold us a sander for the truck that we'd ordered, and then we ended up getting a different truck. And
Oh, okay.
that would be my guess as to what happened.
Yeah.
It's really not our
No.
fault. But
Well, yeah, but they wouldn't have known, they should have known when they put it on.
Yeah.
They should have seen it and said something then, rather than,
Yeah.
or maybe that's what's happened. I mean, I don't know, this whole thing has taken forever,
It
so,
has. Yeah.
maybe
It's
they're
not-
just,
we can't even use it right now because
Yeah.
we can't get material to the sander. So, this will be the one that sits on the back instead of below. So, yeah.
All right. Any select board comments?
I just wanna do a kudos to our town crew. Our roads were extraordinarily better than Brandon's were this morning. Brandon's were horrendous. So our crew, got out there and did a good job. So I just want to say kudos to them.
Good, yeah.
They did. They went out early last night and then came in early this morning too. So,
Great.
It used to be Rutland town, the town line just up above me. Rutland town always used to be right on the ball, but Pittsford's beating the hell right out.
Good, good. It's good that it's competitive like that.
Last year, I think Rutland town had changed their plan of operation or something. Yeah, Pittsford does a good job, but up in my neighborhood anyway.
Great. Do we have any public comment? I think everyone's on the agenda. All right.
Rowdy's on, I don't know if we have anything.
Oh. Rula, any public comment? Okay. All right, old business, purchasing policy.
So in your packet, there's a purchasing policy draft.
Yep.
I know I think it was brought to folks before too. We're just looking to change a couple things on it. Not really a lot, just upping the allowable amounts for department heads and myself. Only because it's hard to get anything done with like $1,000 for the department heads. Obviously, they've got to bring invoices to me for approval, and then you folks approve it too. But Ann and I have actually started going through all the policies and trying to get them. We're hoping to bring a bunch to you here pretty soon on ones we don't have that we probably should, and then ones like this that could probably use an update. So
Okay.
obviously, we're all open to suggestion on any of it, but. This is what we came up with so far. And one of the things that was added was about doing a quote process versus bids sometimes for, like, I think I was saying at the last meeting, for like pavers, because we only have really 2 paving companies left, so doing formal bids is kind of a waste of time when we can, hopefully beat them down on price when we meet with them. So
Yeah, okay.
and just stuff like that, especially locally. It's easy to get 2 or 3 quotes from vendors locally without having to submit bids out, and we could get a low bid from someone in Schenectady, New York, who knows. And so I think that sometimes just doing a quote, it'll get the process done quicker, and we could keep it local as well.
Okay, yeah.
So
It appears as though you pretty much just doubled the figures on what is allowable. And I guess the way everything's going, you gotta keep up with the times.
well, it's easier for some stuff.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't hold you back quite so much.
Yeah.
We need to vote on that? Would we like to vote on that? Wait till we have a full board?
You need a motion to approve.
Yeah,
that.
the board would have to sign it. I don't care how you guys want to do it, if you want to wait for a full board or not.
Yeah, I mean, 3 weeks isn't gonna be a big deal. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of this stuff, I think we should do it as a whole board, everybody
Right.
see it.
Not
Right.
Somebody may,
Yep.
Not pressing either.
right.
Okay, all right. Extended truck warranty.
So that is for the international truck again. That's in your packet too. That is all out of order for some reason. It's the Allegiant truck one. Chad asked me to bring it to you guys to see if we wanted to look at a warranty for it. There's two different options there. One for $84 a month. That's for includes engine failure, and then the other one is engine and chassis, and that's for the International. So,
Do either of those have emissions? Does the engine one include emissions?
I don't have the list of all of it, but I'd have to look at and see if that includes it.
That's where the trouble's gonna
Yeah.
be. If any of that'll be the trouble.
Yeah,
That's right.
engine
They're
and
getting
chassis.
better, but they haven't perfected them yet.
Yeah.
So I guess that's before I
Okay.
voted on either one. I need to know if that's in either one,
That
because
would be a good idea.
that can get real expensive real fast, so. But if they aren't included, yeah.
Okay.
It's not a
Just
very
as a
good
point,
warranty.
as a Vermont State Inspection mechanic and station, you're required by state law and federal law to inform the customer that their vehicle, if it doesn't pass state inspection, likely could be covered by a manufacturer's warranty, just so people know. You can't say you don't pass because your certain sensor's not working. There's a whole form, and it's on the printouts that we used to issue with inspections. We don't issue the inspections, but those are printouts. But the emissions inspection, emissions warranty is provided by the manufacturer. In some cases, it's 100,000 miles, depending upon the component.
Depends on the, yeah,
Component.
yeah.
So that could be covered already. I think Chad and I'll take a look at the warranty and see if it's in there.
See if it
'cause,
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Yep.
that's the new truck, right?
Yeah.
So why are you gonna get a warranty
Yeah,
on top of the
Right,
manufacturer?
Right.
right, okay.
Right, well,
'Cause it's
we need to know.
No, just
Yeah.
so you know.
Well,
on any of your
looking at
vehicles.
this one, it's the one that says includes engine failure, and the second one is engine failure and chassis coverage. So, yeah, we'll just look at the regular warranty and
How
see what
long
it
does the
covers.
town usually keep the trucks?
10 years. That's
Well,
kind of the rule of thumb.
it's varied, because we did talk about going 5 years, because the last, when we got that Kenworth, we traded in a newer truck that was only 5 years old versus the one that was 7 years old, and got substantially more for it at 5 years than we were gonna get at 7. So we've, we haven't gone to that yet, but we've looked into it, because your truck is just worth that much more.
But you had to
Especially,
do a cost analysis on how much more you had
Yeah,
to get for the new one.
oh, right, but, yeah,
It's like, you get $30,000, $5,000 over the equity on the vehicle that you have, but you're actually paying $10,000 more for
Oh,
the
no.
new vehicle.
yeah.
So it's a numbers game,
Yeah.
so you have to look at it.
All right, so wait for more info on that. All right, results of town meeting. Congratulations, David Mills, for being reelected.
Thank you. Had so many people running against me. It was nip and tuck there for a minute,
Have you
yes.
ever been contested?
No,
You
Not
got-
yet.
You got appointed and you ran away from the planning commission and left us with.
I didn't get appointed. No, I ran.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't get appointed.
That's right, you were out here freezing. I remember.
Yeah, no,
Just
yeah.
wanna see how good you remember.
Yeah, no,
Trick
I
question.
remember, yeah.
And Mark had been appointed, but now is duly elected.
Yeah. And so now we got Kevin. So Mark ran away. So if you're thinking about retiring, let me know. I think I'm gonna run. It's easier. We'll find out.
Next spring, my time will be up, we'll get together and talk about it.
Do we have any other highlights of town meeting? Everything passed
Yeah,
Unanimously.
unanimously. Yeah. That's it. Smooth sailing this year. Okay, so we have to make an appointment to fill the McClure Library Board trustee role, who has been Judy Tompkins, but she hadn't gotten onto the ballot in time, so we need to make an appointment.
Move to appoint Judy Tompkins to the McClure Library Board of Trustees.
Okay,
I'll second
all right, all in favor say aye.
that.
Aye.
Okay, and then well, all right, appointments. So we have vacancies on water and sewer, animal control officer, and zoning ticketing official vacancy. I don't think we have candidates for any of those except for would the zoning ticketing official then be you? Hasn't it been the town manager in the past?
I don't know
It's
if
like-
that's a good idea.
Okay,
We should probably talk to Chief Warfel about who would have ticketing authority. The zoning administrator should probably be the one that does it.
okay,
But I know there's a process to do it, and I think there needs to be some certification for him to write a ticket.
okay,
But Chief Warfel should be able to help us out with that.
all right. Yeah, okay, that works. Okay, Rutland County Solid Waste District appointment form. We need to sign that. It's the same,
Yep, I have that
it's
one here.
Nancy Gaudreau and Bill Drummond, correct?
Yep. Can I slide this whole thing down to you after we're done with
Yeah,
this? Okay.
yep. So do we need to vote on that or just sign for, just sign? For the solid
Board's
waste
appointing that,
district?
you might want to make a motion.
Okay.
But they're on this table already.
Well, that's what, yeah, so they've already been,
Okay.
okay, so
Oh,
we-
it was in the one that we just did, that was just done?
Yeah.
it was, so I guess we already did vote on that, so,
So
okay, we'll just
that's
sign it.
just the annual formality.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, consider adoption of V-Trans road and bridge standards.
So this is the annual compliance that the town does every year.
Okay, yep.
It just says that we will follow the road and bridge standards that are in the state books for replacing culverts and other things.
Okay,
Move to adopt that.
okay. We have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adoption of annual financial plan.
So this goes with what was just signed, and it just shows what money is spent on maintenance for winter maintenance, highway, if we had any grant money spent that year, and what we received for class 2 and class 3 funds from the state.
Okay.
Move to
Motion.
approve.
We have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have quotes for, 3 quotes for tree removal and it's, 2 pine trees out here, right?
It's the 2 out there, so, the neighbor had come to us and asked us if we would consider cutting those trees
I
down.
want to sign that,
Um,
Dave.
I asked him if he wanted to split it, the cost with us, and I haven't heard back yet,
Okay,
so, I assume that one is just, that one's just Alicia, I believe, select board.
Yes, sir.
I think that one's just you.
This one here, I can.
Yep, that one's, yep.
Is that pine tree on the town's property or on?
They are, both of the
Yeah.
pine trees are on the town's property. Well, they are large. And branches are falling off of them, so.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say something because Diana Donner lived there and she was so disgusted when this woman's office got built here. Because
Oh, really?
we were out of town and we didn't vote and it only passed by, I think, 1 vote.
oh geez.
But they planted all these trees out here. Diane and Roger Donner lived there because we lived in the next house
Yeah.
down. And used to work on Diana's car. And Diana worked for all our cars. She was relative. And boy, we really heard it. She was, but
So who planted the trees? The town?
I believe all those trees were planted out there by the town.
Yeah, it's just the 2 large pine trees that they're worried about, so.
Yeah. And then it was the big maple tree in front of Tom Carrera's house. And then how many ash trees is it on Old Hubbardton Road?
It's only $600, so it can't be too many.
Right, okay.
Black Bear was the cheapest of the three, wasn't it?
Black Bear was significantly cheaper than the other three.
You guys
Today,
use
the
tab?
14th?
It looks like there's 3 on Old Hubbardton.
Motion.
Surprised somebody hasn't cut them for firewood and
Yeah.
just disappeared. They're ash trees.
All right. Well, the wood is gonna get left, right, in all these quotes?
Yep.
A motion on that?
Well,
Not really.
did you look at all 3 quotes? I mean, there really is only Black Bear's was
Black
the
Bear is
cheapest.
definitely the least expensive of the
Yeah.
3.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. Does anybody have any further questions about that?
No, motion to approve Black Bear for
All
the
right.
tree removal.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Amount?
Oh, $3,200. Okay, so discussion on notice of hearing, the DG Outback Acres Solar, and that's next month, right? But they haven't come, nobody's come to the board yet?
No, they were gonna come at the last meeting, and then the representative had COVID, and I mentioned
Oh.
that they could zoom in, and
I guess I forgot.
didn't, so I
Okay.
was trying to get them for the April 1st meeting, right? April, is that the next one? They have a hearing with the state on, I think, the following week.
Okay,
So she'd sent me an email today, asked if anyone from the planning commission or the select board was going to attend the PUC hearing, and I didn't know if anyone wanted to. I've already, I did request party status just so we can comment more. I mean, obviously as a
Yeah.
town, we're already on it, but,
yeah,
I mean, I can certainly attend the hearing. I don't really know what to say at this point, but,
okay,
I mean, my comments for party status was that they haven't presented to the select board and the planning commission yet. I don't think they've gone to regional yet either, so.
okay.
It came up at regional last month.
It
Oh,
did.
did it?
And they were, of course, looking, well, to us, me, for guidance, and I said, we haven't heard anything about it. I mean, we know what's happening, but we haven't heard anything about it, so we have no comment.
Yeah.
Now, have you heard anything, Kevin?
Just got letters in the mail.
Well,
I brought them over and had him look at them
I've
too.
been assisting Kevin, because new chairman.
Yeah.
They sent a letter in that there was gonna be a scheduling conference, and we got it a week after the scheduling conference.
Same here, I got it a few days, I got a letter a few days
I was
after
thinking I
the,
missed it. I was like, how did I miss that in the mailbox?
nope, they came late, so that was nice.
It was even stamped.
So then the next response, referring to the Public Utility Commission meeting, I noticed says Pittsfield. I was gonna bring it up at the
Oh.
meeting, so I'm just speaking here. We don't have a quorum, right? Well, we're here to, I just wanna make sure this is, okay. So, they sent a very large packet, which you had at the previous meeting, and Kevin just got it. So they did send the planning commission that information, but Kevin picked it up that night at that meeting. So we haven't had, we'll have a meeting next week, and it's on our agenda to deal with it. So,
So,
Have
So
we heard?
you're next Thursday, let's see, so
Yeah.
you're next,
right behind you,
so
Dave.
you're the 23rd.
Correct.
Okay, so regional's the 21st, so I'll be there, so again, I'll just tell them, we haven't, everything came late and we haven't had a chance to look at it, so.
But from what I understand, and maybe David can speak to this, it's the notice of them filing for the hearing, correct? The notice requirement?
I believe so.
45
Yeah,
day notice?
yeah.
I spoke with Mike Norris yesterday,
Yeah,
just different issues. Anyways, he's a small solar developer, and he plans to be zooming in on it.
Okay,
So I can certainly ask them to come to the next select board meeting, which is just, the day before I think their hearing, but
Okay.
I don't know if the planning, if some folks from the planning commission wanted to do like a joint meeting just for that section, if they can attend the next select board meeting, and then they could present to the planning commission and the select board.
Will that be in April?
It's April, I don't have my
April
glasses on. Is it
April
April 5th?
April 5th.
I think their hearing's the next day, right? Isn't it the
Mike's
6th?
gonna be back, right? He said the first
so.
part of April.
I think so, yeah.
I know I can't go that time because we're thinking about taking
You know.
off.
I had a conversation with an adjacent landowner to that.
Because then if I
They were
attend the
very
hearing, I can
unhappy.
at least
They were very
bring the
unhappy.
comments to them on,
Then we can just
Where the
ask-
town
It's gonna be
stands on
huge
it.
and an eyesore,
April
for
5th?
sure.
I believe, April 5th is the next board meeting, right? I'm looking at the
Yes,
calendar.
April 5th,
Okay.
yes.
April 11th is the hearing,
Okay.
so we have a little bit of
We got a
time.
little ways.
But I mean, I would love to get a presentation because this seems to be significantly larger than other
Yeah.
ones we have in town.
It seems like there's been some concern from what I've heard too of where it's going, that
Right.
folks are not too happy with it.
I
so,
can't imagine, so it's gonna be very
Yeah.
visible.
Yeah.
It's a very visible location.
So why don't I invite them to our next select board meeting and we can get everyone here if that works?
Yeah, that works,
Okay.
yeah.
I believe in that letter it mentioned that John Carrera will be pro se,
Oh, yes.
speaking
I
for
did see that.
himself. And was Rob Walker mentioned, Jim?
No,
No?
Oh,
There was another landowner mentioned, do you have it, David?
I don't. I have a whole file in my office on that.
Craig Billings.
yes, that's the
Yeah.
name I
Yep,
remember
that's right,
seeing
Because
that.
he uses the fields.
That's right, because
for some of them.
he was listed as,
Smith's Barn.
he's already
Right. Oh, he
requested
bought
party
that
status
chunk.
too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
about the barn.
He has.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw him on the, because I went on the PUC website, and
Oh, yeah.
he was already listed on there as
Okay.
party
He
status,
only
so.
bought the barn because his wife runs a little,
oh,
well, Ronnie ran out of there.
oh, yeah, oh.
Good, good.
But we have, the town hasn't heard from any adjoining landowners with concerns?
No.
I know, I mean, Joe has said he's heard from
Yeah,
some.
I haven't heard
some, but-
anything official, I just, the word around the water cooler is
Yeah,
that, and looking, like, going, if you go to the PUC website, I don't know if you've ever done that, like, it lists everybody that's requested status, and you can click things on and look at documents, and
Yeah.
it's quite, there's a lot of information
plus,
on
I think
it,
this
so.
one's like been a lot quieter than normal because,
They haven't showed up to town yet.
well, that's
to
what I'm
present
saying,
it, yeah.
quiet on their, like,
Yeah,
Well, I think part of it was they said they were gonna do it,
Right.
and then they said there was a stop
They
for some
stopped it
reason.
for a while, that's right, because
Right,
they
yeah.
said they were gonna.
Because it was like a year,
evaluate.
was what, during the summer maybe it came up and then it was, oh, it's gone.
Because
And then all of a
it was
sudden
gonna be
it's-
too expensive or something.
It's come back again.
Right, and that's
Because-
when I told Rutland Regional too, that, they said, no, it's stopped for now, it's on hold, so. That was the last I had heard.
Because Chris and, oh gosh, what's Chris's husband's name? Keith.
Keith, yeah.
They came to one of our meetings and they sat there one night and they didn't say anything. And so they left. Before they left, I said, did you guys want to say something? Because we didn't have them on their agenda. And they said, no, we just wanted to observe. So
Yeah.
that was the only time I've ever seen them at any of our meetings.
okay,
well, I could certainly
yeah.
touch base with them tomorrow, and I'll let everybody know. I just send it to, you want to send it to everyone on the planning commission, or just the chair, or let you
Yeah,
know? Okay,
You can send it to everybody. It'd
Okay.
be easier for you.
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
The blind leading the blind.
All right, thank you.
Would the budding landowners be notified of a chance to voice their opinion?
Well, they have already all been notified, they've been
Maybe
getting, all their
they're-
names are on the paperwork that's been
Yeah.
going out, so.
What I saw is Carrera and Billings responding to the scheduling conference. They were the only two that responded to it.
Okay.
Oh, I mean,
That's my
Carrera,
recollection.
it's right in his yard almost.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
Yep.
gonna be big.
Except for when you have solar panels in his yard.
all right, let's move on from that. Consider Veemers Group C for the town manager position. And that was something, I just want to remind everyone, it was in your contract, but something with the
So,
switching.
right, it was in my contract, and, when we called Veemers to make the change, there's a process that needs to go through, and, the town, the select board actually have to vote, not for me individually, but for the town manager position to move to Group C. And, They were trying to say that it wouldn't take effect until next July of '24, but the board could request that it become effective sooner than later, which would be July 1.
Okay.
So, and I did just have, I got a little letter in there that if the board wanted to sign, and then I just get the meeting minutes from Kelly and send it up to Veemers.
Okay.
So.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll make a motion, I mean, it's what we agreed to,
Yeah.
so I'll make a
I know, it's
motion
just
to,
formality.
change it to Veemers Group C. And what did you need to, and to do it by July 1st of this year?
So,
Is that what you needed in there?
is the letter in your packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Okay, it's just a short one, but here,
So
this is, here, I'll just pass it down, and, I mean, Alicia's the one that would need to sign it anyway, but, and just that the board requests to make the change.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that, you know, we accept this letter. That, essentially moves the town manager from Group A to Group C. And we request the change take place before July 1st of '23.
Right.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Dave, was that before 7/1 or 7/1/23 because they're looking at 7/1/24?
I'm looking at 7/1/23, but I'm gonna try to talk to them about that. It's already a contractual obligation that hopefully it could be done sooner.
Okay, because at one point you'd said 24.
So
up to
they
23.
were worried that if it wasn't done in time, that it would be next July, which would cause some problems. So hopefully it goes through sooner than later.
Okay.
So what does that change from Group A to C entail exactly? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it's retirement. The Vermont Municipal Employees Retirement System is what VEMR stands for.
Right.
And it lets me contribute more. The town does contribute a little bit more, but I've been in it. I was in it in my prior employment, so kind of wanted to keep it that way too.
Super.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, consider additional match amount for the Tri-Town scoping study. It went up by what, like
$700, I think. Yeah, well, it was 6 and change. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did meet with Michael Ramsey last Friday. He came up and we talked about it, and Scott Robertson, who runs the MAB project at VTrans, said, you know, this is kind of the first time we've ever seen this, and you might want to ask just for a little more for scoping because it does, you know, include 3 towns, which totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So West Rutland and Proctor both voted to, you know, boost the match up to 4,000. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So this was on the trails connection,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Sorry. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right. Right. So the three towns are splitting the match grant, or
Right,
grant
right.
match rather. So.
Yeah, and it's a, you know, up to, so it could be less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Could you guys make a motion on that too?
Well, I'm trying to word it in my head.
Okay.
Yes, I'll make a motion to, add $700 to the matching amount for the Tri-Town scoping study.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Really unorganized.
All right. CLA recalculation worked in our favor.
Yeah.
Good.
So Lisa had informed me last week that our CLA had been recalculated and is at a higher number, more like in the 84% range than it was
Yeah, right.
originally at 77. So this is favorable change for the education tax rate for Pittsford, and the difference is pretty substantial. So we're hoping to see an official letter from Teresa at valuation this week. So probably when
Okay.
Lisa comes in, she'll have it. But yeah, that was good news.
Yes, very good news.
Yeah.
Okay, and then fuel bid.
So I found out that we're doing fuel bidding on a 1-year contract, and a lot of fuel suppliers are kind of pulling away from that because it's just a pain every year.
Mm-hmm.
So had luck in the past doing 3-year contracts, and it's, you know, a not to exceed amount for us. So I don't know if the board would be okay with us putting out bids out for that just to see how it sits for 3-year bids for fuel for the town.
Then we're locked into that price for 3 years.
Well,
Well, only if we accept.
Right.
Because what you're talking is just throw out bids for 3 years and see how they come out, and then if we don't think it's favorable, we can go back to 1 year.
right.
Correct.
So, been seeing, they pull the prices off the rack, and usually if the prices go up, we've got a little security blanket on it that there's a not to exceed price per gallon or whatever, so.
Okay.
And in the past, I've seen them give us a better price for a 3-year contract versus a 1 year because they know they'll have our business for 3 years too, so.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not in favor of it when we see the bids, then we could certainly go back to 1 year, but
Yeah.
What did you pay the last year?
I'd have to look, I don't know. There's a couple different fuel accounts, so.
Does that sound right? 420-ish?
I don't remember, we debated whether to lock it in or not, because we did it when it was high, but it went up more for a while, then it's gone back down, so I think, most years that's worked in our favor to lock it in.
Yeah, there's some companies that are being pretty competitive with pricing that, I think we're using one of them now too, so,
Okay.
it could be favorable for us.
Yeah.
It's easier for budgeting too, because then we know.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay. All right, so the bridge discussion.
We've been discussing this all day.
Probably yesterday too, knowing you.
I'm tired, Dave. Age is showing. Well, just to bring everybody up to speed, the district commission made their decision on the Conway motion to alter their decision. Unfortunately, they didn't do anything for the town of Pittsford with regards to, safety issues and so forth. We were able to, this benefited us. For some reason, they had struck us from party status on criterion 8, and they reinstated it after our lawyer cited whatever had to be cited. With that decision, a 30-day time clock started for the town, planning commission, all party status, the Rutland Regional Commission, to file an appeal with the Superior Court, which is Environmental Court. Environmental Superior Court, they have all these different terms. So, we've always used Jim Doss for our Act 250 stuff, and as a result of this, he suggested that we retain another attorney that specializes in being an opponent to Act 250 hearings. Jim has represented us several times as applicant. So today we met with attorney Jim Dumont down in Bristol to work on us with this appeal, and he indicated to us that our appeal should be filed this week. The 30-day period is going to end like in the first week of April, I think. I said Tuesday, it might be Wednesday, but we're not, you don't want to take a chance if you're going to appeal to stretch it out. It was my understanding, I had spoken with Gary Kupfer after a zoning hearing that we had, and he said he was under the impression that the town was considering appealing, and I asked him, I said, well, there's been some discussion at the planning commission too, have they spoken with you? And he said, no, I haven't spoken with them. But I said, well, could you represent both? And he said, yes. Didn't see why he couldn't. So we left it that I would let him know, keep him abreast of what happened. So I emailed that to Gary Kupfer, the decision by the district commission on Conway's motion to alter. He has it. I asked him to respond to us for any motions that the town files. When we left today, I believe Jim Dumont said that he was going to contact Gary to see where the town was. And I contacted Kevin to let him know. I forwarded Kevin the decision because for some reason the district commission used a certificate of service that had Dave Sulia as the chairman.
It's like 4 years ago.
I can't speak for Act 250. Mark Winslow has been receiving receiving information regarding this because Mark is chairman and has filed with the district commission, planning commission's position at the 250 hearing. Mm-hmm. Why that happened, I don't know. Did speak with Mark Winslow yesterday, and I spoke with Alicia, kind of brought him up to speed because I didn't know what was going on with you people. So Mark said that I should come to the meeting tonight, so that's why I'm here. So I've pretty much got everybody up to speed on where we are. The town will be getting our appeal because they're on the certificate of service. Mm-hmm. This is a second chance for the town to argue, present their case to a judge. This isn't going to be, it'll be in a court. On whatever your attorney thinks are relative points. You know, we've really worked on this for a long time. We've met with V-Trans back and started in 2019. Went on for a couple of years, and we really didn't make a whole lot of headway. Originally, the only thing I can think that we could say that we gained was they are only putting a right turn lane in to go down Route 3. Originally, that was not only going to be a right turn lane, it was also going to be a straight lane through past the gas station. So you have 2 lanes of traffic starting on the north side of that bridge, as it is right now. But instead of being a right turn lane only, both lanes would have gone right through the intersection southbound on Route 7. So that was the only thing that we were able to overturn. Working with Goss, he recommended that we get a traffic expert, retain a traffic expert, which we did. Good guy, gave us some really good points. And then he was kind of a single-man show, and then he went to work for a big firm. And he came back to us and said that he couldn't really do any more for us because he was only going to be working for us once, and that this firm now that he was working for works for V-Trans, which I think is really unfortunate. And we had hoped when we met with Mr. Dumont today that he was going to have a traffic expert, you know, somebody here in Vermont. And I guess his closest one that he knows is in Boston. So that's another issue, except it's really, I think it's really bad, and I was unaware that this was happening, you know. And I don't want to go into the detail. There's a lot of detail that I don't want to waste the time because it's just really unfortunate that that kind of is held over people to not be able to testify as to what the issue is and not be partisan. Mm-hmm. And it's really unfortunate that our representative, Butch Shaw, does not support the Select Board, Planning Commission, Fire Department, and 400 plus signatures that are on that paper that don't support this project. I tried talking with Butch in the beginning, you know, before this, and his immediate response was to me, Rick, I support this project. And I said, well, at least hear me out. And that was no, because I wanted to meet with him to show what we had on paper and so forth.
Partisan.
I think it's really important to specify that this appeal period is going to happen very quick. You know, a lot of times already gone by, it's only 30 days. The motion to alter, which we filed, was only 15 days. We only had 15 days to file it. And we got our decision on the 27th of December, 2 days after Christmas. We had an Act 250 hearing, but the District Commission heard this on October 21st, 2021. and didn't make their decision until 14 months later, December 27th. Mark Winslow brought that up at the meeting that we came, because we did come and meet and talk with you about it, when we were at the level of filing the motion, motion to consider, motion to alter decision. I strongly recommend that the Select Board and the Planning Commission meet with Gary Kupfer to preserve their right to appeal. As I said, Mr. Dumont is putting ours in this week, and then, I don't know, in a couple of weeks, we got to meet with him to discuss what points we want to put before the court, which I'm assuming will be the same for this commission, Planning Commission, or not this commission, this board, Planning Commission, whatever, whatever Gary does for you guys. Kind of hit on this before. If the town is nervous about V-Trans retaliation, I think this really will need to be dealt with at the administrative level in the state. And I can attest to this because we had this very issue 8 to 10 years ago when they tried to recover a 6-rod right-of-way on our property, which basically would have taken half our property from the mobile station. We were in litigation, and Sandy suggested that we call the Lieutenant Governor, and we arranged a meeting. We went, and when we got there, the Lieutenant Governor had brought in the Chairman of Transportation, who was Dick Mazza. Peg Flory was there, and the Lieutenant Governor, that was Scott. Scott was the Lieutenant Governor at that time. Anyways, needless to say, we kept our 3-rod right away, and there was a stipulated boundary put in place that the state and the Conways agreed to. So we're relying on a lot of that from our side. I don't really know what else to say. I would rather field questions than try to present.
Right. Okay. I do have a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Dumont, he deals with this stuff all the time, the Act 250.
Yeah, he's an environmental law. Well,
Yeah.
actually, he's quite a bit on his shingle there on what is on his window.
So what did he have to say about this particular case?
Well, we just were basically talking about the appeal. This has been going on for so long. There's so much information that we had to bring to him, and
I mean, I've never been involved in an Act 250 before, but just the issue, the safety issues of that unique intersection, I feel were just, like floated over. And then what the petition of 400 people that live in this town and actually drive that way. And the fire chief talking about how when he comes down Arch Street, he would need that slip lane. And I was really disappointed with the commission, I have to say. I couldn't believe it. It was just like I couldn't believe nothing happened with that. There were no statements to negate anything. I mean, they were talking about slip lanes in Illinois and how they just blanketly wanted to just get rid of slip lanes in the whole state. But they didn't look at that unique intersection. So I guess that's what bothers me the most of this whole case.
well, my personal take on it is that the town is going to have to take, really take the position. The Planning Commission, the town in my opinion, all the people that are on Oxbow Road, they're now going to have to cross an additional lane and yield to that additional lane, because currently southbound traffic to go to Proctor has to yield. And for some reason, when we were having the Act 250 hearing, you were there, Donnie, I don't know if you remember, but they said people don't yield at that intersection. But offered no evidence at all to show there were accidents there. Tommy Hooker testified that he could remember one accident all the years I ran my towing business, almost 40 years. Never took a car out of the slip lane. Picked up plenty of cars at the junction of 7 and 3 because people, they gotta take a chance to get across. They misjudge how fast cars are coming through there. And it fell on deaf ears. The District Commission, in fairness to them, did request of V-Trans traffic statistics and crash statistics for the slip lane. V-Trans didn't provide any. They provided accidents over by the intersection of 7 and 3, out where Oxbow is. Not the slip lane. The slip lane's way over. If you think about it, it's like a Y. My middle finger being the slip lane, what so-called slip lane, and then the road, Route 7 goes this way. And they claimed in their response that the Pittsford police did not indicate specifically where accidents were. So they didn't really know if there some of those accidents that were being shown out on that mile marker. The mile marker is on the stop sign on Oxbow Road. If they in fact really occurred there. I mean, really, personally, you know, when you take a dig at somebody and you really don't have any proof, it's just, so anyways, the Conways provided accident statistics specifically for the slip lane, which is Route 3. We went to the District Commission office up on Route 4 to have them double check the mile markers. We submitted that information to the District Commission. Totally ignored it. So, I don't understand how moving traffic now, and there's no history of accidents and we've got statistics to support it, how they think moving that lane over next to that southbound lane where they have accidents makes any sense. The bridge needs to be replaced. The road does not need to be redesigned. And we have gone through so many designs. If you people really knew how much, I would literally have to come in here and spend 4 hours with you just showing all the proposals that they could have built 6 bridges in the amount of money that this has taken. And for V-Trans, so all I could think of is V-Trans is a bully, and people are afraid that if they don't play ball with V-Trans, then they're not going to get their whatever they should get. Well, I'll tell you what, that stops here with me. The law, the government in this state and in this country is to serve the people. And I don't see how that's going to be safe. I don't see how the whole process of Act 250 was properly administered there, because it's supposed to be for public participation. In my opinion, that did not occur. But that's only my opinion. We're beyond Act 250 now. This is like a second chance at it. Tom Hooker, biggest concern for speaking for the fire department as past fire chief, stated that currently, if they need to go down to Proctor for mutual aid fire, because the fire departments work back and forth, or if there's a fire down that way, because there's a lot of coverage that they got to cover that way, they can go straight through. Now they have big trucks, they'll have to slow way down in the wintertime, they're worried about getting up the hill. At the 250 hearing, it was suggested that maybe a preemptive lighting could be put in so that they could stop the traffic with lights. Because they're going to take all the lights out down there too. There'll be no indication of an intersection there. Right now there's lights overhanging. We did not know that until we got to the Act 250 hearing, so it was really hard to prepare for that. So anybody coming into town on a foggy night or a stormy night, you're not going to know what's going on there. But he said, they said, well, we'll look into putting a preemptive lighting in. They didn't have any lighting on the bridge, and they said, oh yeah, we can put lighting on the bridge. It's awful dark down there. You know, you go over to Woodstock and they replace that bridge going over that river, and they got a lot of nice lights. You don't rip through there 35 miles an hour. And they came back and they said V-Trans had reassessed it and a preemptive lighting system was not warranted. Now, you know what? That's just wrong in my opinion. Because what Tom illustrated was, if they construct it with the right turn lane, eliminate the slip lane, the minute those red lights come on, by state law, cars got to pull over. The whole intersection is just gonna be blocked. Because people are gonna,
No place to pull over.
there's no place to go.
No, agreed.
So,
Does anyone have any specific questions for Rick? I think we're all
oh, we
up to,
are.
yeah.
Okay, good.
So, no, thank you. I mean, I think we need to discuss it when we have a full board, and talk to Gary.
Okay,
So you guys are willing to,
I don't want to, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone. We haven't made a formal decision as a board yet, so.
this is just for my, can you get a time date here on April? I can't see it from here. I believe that March 4th will be the last day that an appeal can be filed.
April.
So we're here tonight on the 15th. When could this board,
April
You mean
4th is the
April-
last,
April.
April 4th is what you meant, is the last day?
April 4th is the last day to appeal.
Okay.
And you risk that you might not get it in there. It has to be in to the court by that date. So
Yeah.
I would say you would want to set a target date of the 30th of March. So what day could you people meet? Today's the 15th.
Yeah.
Well, when does the planning commission, you guys meet on the 23rd?
yes.
And you'll be discussing this and come up with a recommendation? Is that,
So we could try to go. Is that what you're saying?
well, no, we could, yeah, we could try to go, some of us, or, because a lot of this stuff, I mean, we take recommendations from the planning commission, you know, we don't always agree with them, but generally we do. So,
But wouldn't you still have to,
no, what I'm saying is if you have your meeting on the 23rd and you can come up with a recommendation for us, then if we met on the 29th or 27th, 28th, 29th, somewhere in there, probably the 27th would be better, 28th, if we've got to get something to Gary.
I don't know what he has to do to appeal, but I would suggest that the planning commission contact Gary to be at the planning commission meeting. So he can tell them, you know, what's required. But
Well, that would be, that way, when you guys present to us what you found, you'll have all the, yeah, you'll have what Gary has to do so that we can make a decision.
Well, I think the planning commission is, I'm guessing Dave is probably gonna approach it from the same, you know, the planning commission was represented at the 250 hearing. We had Mark Winslow submitted a letter, Mike Norris testified,
Mark Picton?
Mark Pate was at the hearing.
And
so-
Rutland Regional
Donna was
also
there. Yep.
participated too with a letter, which I was gonna ask them again on, what, the 21st?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to them again.
Chuck, you had something?
Yeah, the only thing I was just gonna let the board know that the segment that was just finished, you've already had issues with. You had a gentleman come in front of this board, the select board, not the planning commission, but he came in front of the select board for safety issues. So I think that's something you guys and gal need to really get around, that part of it, the safety part of it, more than us. Because you've already been approached by a design that was done by V-Trans, and you've had complaints of safety issues already that have been created with that one section that, you know, that was just completed.
Right.
So I think as a board, that's something you need to address more than us. You know, that's because you've already been approached. We weren't approached on that subject. And I just think that for the 400 people that have signed that document, it might be in your interest to think about that. That's all.
No, I get that, but I'm not sure, I mean, and yes, that person came in here, but I know over the years, there've been a lot of accidents in that 200-300 yard section of Route 7. I don't know if it's any worse now than it's ever been. I mean, it was for him because of what he was doing, and I fully understand that, because people are accelerating. They aren't paying any attention to the speed limit. They're going flat out to get up that hill, and all of a sudden you got a truck stop trying to make a turn in front of you. So I get what he's talking about, but
My opinion on that would be that if they were doing stuff for safety, and that's supposedly why they're getting rid of the entrance into Route 3, wouldn't you have thought coming down that hill they would have made a turn onto Oxbow Road? Because that's where multiple accidents have been, turning onto Oxbow Road. So you know what I'm saying? So I think their designs, they've done a great job, but they might have missed something that the select board can help them understand, that once in a while you design stuff, but it doesn't always work the way you design it.
Okay.
So I think that because he's approached you at one of your meetings, that it might be stronger for you guys. It's already been in your, basically, wheelhouse. That's why I was saying that.
I think the only thing the town could even do there would just have more speed enforcement. It's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. I mean, it's been that way even before they did the, you know, the extension of the 2 lanes, so it was 35 up the hill then. I mean, that would really be the only thing the town could do to make it change there is...
Well, but I'm saying in this new design, they're creating a bigger monster, and anybody that doesn't believe it, go to Oxbow Road and cross over to Route 3 at any time between 6 and 9 in the morning.
I thought your concern was that...
Well, that they've already made a mistake. My personal opinion is they've already made a mistake with their design. I just don't want them to make another one, and the town of Pittsford's got to live with it. That's all I was saying, and other people have agreed with me and came to the board and brought that to the attention. That's what I was just saying.
You have a tricky spot there because you're supposed to be decelerating going down a hill, you know, into an intersection. So
yeah,
it's a hard thing for most drivers to do.
Well, and you're coming, when you're heading south, you're accelerating to make the hill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's just a nature.
I'm going to bet every one of us in the room's done that once or twice.
Everybody. Yes.
Only once or twice?
Dave twice a day. But.
For the record, Alicia LeMay and Tom Hooker attended the 250 hearing, and they represented the select board.
We
The
did.
select board has independent party status under Act 250. So when this hearing starts over, think of it like a second time around, like a second crack at the bat. The town was represented through those 2 people. The select board is represented through those 2 people. The 2, Mark Pape and Mike Norris, represented the planning commission. Donna Wilson was there representing the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. I think that it speaks more that you people already have statutory appeal, and I think that it needs to be there. Now, one thing, the village district ends up on top of the hill. When they prepared that Act 250 application, they said it wasn't in the village district. We have a designated village district. It had expired, and we worked with John Haverstock, the Planning Commission, and we have a map, and I submitted that to them, and they corrected it. But my point is, I think you could lower the speed limit to 25 miles an hour. We suggested lowering it to 25 as a method to calm the traffic down, because V-Trans expert witness engineer said that that right turning lane to go down to Proctor that they're going to create will have a calming effect on traffic. So you know that when somebody Chucky Charbonneau is sitting over in his truck going up to see his mother, he's in that southbound lane wanting to turn onto Oxbow, but there's a whole queue of traffic coming north on Route 7. Then Kevin Blow comes down, he's behind Chucky Charbonneau. Then Rick Conway comes down behind, he's supposed to have been in Rutland 10 minutes ago. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to boogie 2-shoe right through that right turn lane. He's going to head up that hill and probably blow the horn and put it to the mat and be doing about 50 up on the top. Now, somehow, I believe the town got the speed limit lowered coming into the top of the hill, which was a good thing. I think it would be a really good thing for the town to attend the Act 250 hearing and request that that speed limit be lowered.
So
25.
there's a way to do that doesn't require going to Act 250. Because it's the state's road. We did it in the other town I used to work in. You have to have those speed increments at 10 miles an hour. So you have to go from like a 50 to a 40 to a 35 or whatever. It has to, and there has to be certain distances between the signs in order to make that happen. So, you know, we could ask V-Trans to push those to 25 out, but then the 35 would go out farther and, you know, to the 50. So, but that could we did it on the north end of town, so you know, it's the same thing that could possibly be done there.
But
then you'd still need enforcement, because
and then the other thing is getting them to do it. a judge could condition it, then it's done.
Well, if I could just make a suggestion, we could try doing it without having to talk to a judge and say, hey, look, can we get permission to move these signs down?
Well, I'm just saying we're gonna be at the Act 250 hearing anyways. I would think that would be a point for the town to bring up, to lower the speed limit. We requested it as Conway's, you know, because we're concerned about our patrons at the station. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer, Dave, I'm sorry, you know?
But they did tell us it was up to the select board.
Right.
And I don't think it would be maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing if the 35 was further down. It sounds like we've already had an incident down there with a truck being hit rear-ended because people are going 35, well, they're gonna be going to 40 right in that area. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Whichever will work to get it would be the best. I don't care which method, really.
Yeah, I mean, because all it is really is we got 25 by the school anyway. We just keep it till, you know, maybe at the top of the hill, we go to 35, and then can you go from 35 to 50, or do you have to go to 40?
I think it does now. I think it goes from 35 to, it might be 10 or 15.
35 to 50, so if we changed it by the school's 25, kept it 25 past the mobile, kept it 25 to the top of that hill, then increased it.
And that's where your village district ends.
Right.
Your village district ends on
Right,
top
on
of
top,
the hill.
well,
and
that,
on Route
the
32.
Lynn or whatever it used to be, the brick building.
Pittsford Inn.
Yeah, stone building up there, yeah, that's the end of it, I know.
Pittsford Inn, yeah.
I just happened to look at that map today, actually. So, I mean, that could be something that the town could,
Yeah.
I don't mind making the call to see what.
Especially if they're, you know, whether they put I mean, especially if they're gonna take out the slip lane, which, you know, maybe we'll win, you'll win, maybe we won't.
Right.
But at least if we get that,
Get
you
that
know,
being the speed
we've
limit.
slowed it down enough, because at 25,
Right,
it's a lot safer there than it is at 35 for sure.
yeah,
You
reaching
know,
required.
that 10 miles an hour doesn't seem
I
like
agree.
much, but it's a lot.
That's why we requested it in our part of Act 250. The Conways requested that of V-Trans. And their response was, like Sandy said, that has to be requested by the select board.
Okay.
But I was just saying that for 250, the judge, because there's certain criteria that can't be denied, but the Act 250 can, whether it's the district commissioner or the environmental judge or even the Supreme Court, they can put conditions on it if it's going to be a safety issue.
Yep, okay.
And I think that would be a good thing. And I would strongly suggest that Alicia and Tom be there representing the select board, especially Tommy, with the fire, with what he said, because it needs to be said again. And the planning commission, I think, is probably going to be better suited to deal with the historic part of it and that sort of thing, and how it relates to the town plan, because, you know, that's specified as well. That's just my personal opinion. It'll be whoever the planning commission decides. I'm only making suggestion to this select board.
Okay. All right, does anybody have anything else? All right, so we'll
Thank
leave.
you.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming. And, yeah, so I guess we'll, I'll try to come to the meeting on the 23rd, right? I wrote it down. So, and then the board can move from there. All right. A motion to adjourn. That's it, right? Okay. We have a second to adjourn. Okay, all in favor say aye.